meeting of the Newark Central Planning Board will now come to order. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Commissioner Jordan,
Here.
Commissioner Baez, we have is absent. Commissioner Purdy, we have is absent. Commissioner Timmons,
Present.
Commissioner Scott Roundtree, we have is absent. Commissioner De Silva.
Here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Commissioner Purdy's in the waiting room. I'm just gonna add it.
And Commissioner Baez just called me, so he's probably trying to get in.
Okay. I'm just gonna jump back to Commissioner Purdy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner James,
Here.
Co-Chair Richard,
Here.
Chair Richardson,
Here,
we have a quorum, Chair.
thank you. Try to help Commissioner Baez.
Okay.
Let's move to app number 5, CPB 24-30. Are the applicants available?
The attorney is coming on, Chair.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Dominic Einerl on behalf of the applicant.
Okay, floor is yours.
Thank you. We're proposing a minor subdivision. It would take essentially the properties owned by Imperial Car Wash. It would split the property.
Wait. I'm sorry to interrupt. Chair Richardson, this is an adjournment. So
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, because of the Irvington. Okay, I thought
Yeah.
we were going to proceed with it based on. Okay, apologize. So that's correct. So we only got the Irvington. Irvington did not provide us the 200-foot list, and unfortunately, we only had 7 days on that notice. So then, what would be the next date that we're working with?
October 21st, the next meeting.
21st, you said?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right. So then I request to be carried with no further notice needed.
Duly noted. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm sorry, I had a little trouble to jump in the meeting.
Okay, we got you.
Pressing. Thank
Let's
you.
move. Okay, let's move to number 6, CPB 24-56. This is also an adjournment, correct?
That's correct, Chair.
All right, let's get the applicants available.
Yes, the attorney, Mr. Jones is coming on.
Good evening, Kevin Jones from Zublat and Jones on behalf of the applicant Dish Wireless. Applicant is requesting an adjournment to the next meeting as well. Can you hear me?
Yes, Madam Secretary?
So unfortunately, the next agenda is full, so we will be moving this one to November 4th.
Yes, I spoke with Ms. Person earlier today about that. So I'm sorry, we're carrying it to the November 4th meeting.
Okay, and you will preserve your notice.
Thank you.
See you then. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Let's go back to the top. CPB 21-07, 449 South 10th Street, Ms. Carrillo Perez.
Good evening.
Floor is yours.
Great, thank you. Good evening. Jennifer Carrillo Perez of Connell Foley on behalf of the owner Bluestone Properties LLC with respect to application CPB 21-07. By letter dated September 26th, my office did submit a request for an extension for a period of 2 years. This applicant has not received any prior extensions. They have secured compliance approval. They're simply waiting for the receipt of the bond calculation so that they can proceed to post the bond and apply for permits, and are working diligently to do that. We're requesting the additional time just to complete the process. for permitting. And so given they haven't requested an extension before, that's why we're seeking the 2-year time period at this time.
Commissioners, any questions or comments? Hearing none. Who's that?
Commissioner Jermaine.
Commissioner James.
Council, is this the first extension?
It is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions or comments from the public?
Seeing none at this time, Chair.
In that case, I need a motion.
Move it.
Second it.
Commissioner Purdy, second by Commissioner Baez. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Purdy,
Yes.
Commissioner Baez,
Yes.
Commissioner Timmons,
Yes.
Commissioner De Silva,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Co-Chair Richard,
Yes.
Chair Richardson.
Yes. The extension has been approved. Let's go to CPB 21-08, Ms. Correa Perez.
Good evening again. Jennifer Carrillo Perez on behalf of Bluestone Properties LLC. Similarly submitted a letter dated September 26th, the same developer, an adjoining property. We're in the same predicament there where they have secured their compliance approval and are working on the bond calculations. The submitted request was for a period of 2 years, and this did not receive any extensions. This would be our first request here, and we're requesting a period of 2 years to allow them to complete bond permitting, etc.
Thank you, Commissioners. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from the public?
Seeing none at this time, Chair.
In that case, I need a motion.
Move it. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Purdy, second by Commissioner Timmons. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Commissioner Baez,
Yes.
Commissioner Timmons,
Yes.
Commissioner De Silva,
Yes.
Commissioner Purdy,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Co-Chair Richard,
Yes.
Chair Richardson.
Yes. The extension has been approved. Good luck. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Let's move to item number 3, which is CPB 24-25, which is 1-37 Avon Avenue. Are the applicants available?
Yes, the attorney, Mr. Carl Kim, is joining us.
Good evening, board members, Chairman Carl Kim on behalf of the applicant. We also have a court reporter. Could you promote her as well? Her name is Iris LaRosa. Thank you, Carissa.
Yes, Mr. Kim, I am here. Iris LaRosa,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you for clarifying. Again, good evening, board members, board professionals. Carl Kim on behalf of the applicant, Friends of Team Charter Schools. As you may recall, we were here at the August 5th meeting. We had presented the application, which is a combined subdivision application and site plan. We're subdividing the existing 1 Avon Avenue property presently owned by the Boys and Girls Club to create a new lot in which there will be a new charter school built that will connect to the Boys and Girls Club. They'll have shared facilities and amenities. We put on all our witnesses. We had gone through all of the board reports and had agreed to comply with those. The board had asked us to adjourn and come back to address 3 issues. One is, why are we moving from the current Life Academy location on Burgaw? The other is to have community outreach. And the third is to do a little further investigation of traffic and parking issues. We have done all those things, and we are coming back this evening to put testimony on record to address those 3 areas. And notice was carried from the prior application to tonight. If there's no other preliminary matters, I will call our first witness.
Please do.
Thank you, Chairman. Our first witness is Charlene Dixon. Charlene, just raise your hand so they can add you.
If
And
you're
let
done,
us-
Mr. Kim, can you tell me your whole team you'll be bringing so we can just have them on?
Sure. So for now, what we plan on calling is Charlene Dixon, Amir Washington, who's the CEO of Boys and Girls Club, Gabrielle D. Filippo, who's the COO of KIP, and our traffic engineer, who is Michelle Brehoff. Thank you.
So it doesn't delay you.
Yeah, it takes a second to reconnect. It's a little discerning. You're like, am I going to get reconnected? But here we are.
Everyone's on there.
Great. Thank you very much, Carissa. May we have Ms. Dixon sworn in? Ms. Dixon, please raise your right hand, turn on your microphone, and the board attorney will swear you in.
Yes. Good evening, Ms. Dixon. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and an affiliation to this application.
My name is Charlene Dixon, and I'm the current principal of Life Academy located at 103 Burgaw Avenue in Newark, New Jersey.
Thank you, Mr. Kim, your witness.
Thank you. Ms. Dixon, if you would just give a brief overview of the KIP Academy, Life Academy, and why you're moving to this new location.
So basically, we are located in Burgaw Avenue School. We've been here for about 10 years. We are actually KIP New Jersey's first turnaround school. So we took over the building and absorbed all of the students that went to Burgaw. So we are definitely a community school. When I was asked to speak, we were talking specifically about like why we needed to move. So one of the things that is very pressing is like, you know, the building is very old. And we've had to do a lot of like repairs to the building, and all of what we put in has not been like sustainable in order to keep a really clean and safe learning environment for students, though we strive to do so every single day. And really, when we talk to our parents, one of the biggest issues that we have is around people being able to like reach our location consistently, because we are not on a bus line. And then also just the facility doesn't match like the potential of what our kids can and are able to do. And so we are looking to move to a space that matches our students' unlimited potential.
Thank you. Unless there's any questions, we'll proceed to our next witness.
I have one. So what happens to, is that a Newark public school building and you were leasing or renting?
Yes, we are currently leasing this building from MPS. So that's also part of the kind of like drawbacks to some of the repairs that can be done because we do not own the building.
So it just goes back to that.
Correct. It'll get turned back over to this Newark Public School when we vacate.
And your lease there is up when?
That's a Gabriella question.
Yeah, we have another witness who can answer that.
Okay, all right. But please continue. I'm sorry.
No, no worries. If there's any other questions for Ms. Dixon?
Yeah, I have a question.
Commissioner James.
Ms. Dixon, are you relocating the existing students from Burgaw to this new campus?
That is the intention that we would take. We currently have 472 students enrolled. So we would hope to take the majority of our students with us. We're located not too far away from the new building. And so we do anticipate taking the majority of students with us to the new building.
So just to be clear, Burgaw is in the South Ward, correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
And are majority of your students, do they like walk to the campus, or what's the transportation, I guess, you know, the logistics, or how would they like get from the South Ward to the Central Ward where this new campus is located?
So it's a combination in terms of like where students are coming from. So we used to have busing a couple of years ago. So many of our families are like what I would call like legacy, like they have multiple children that have gone through here. So they kind of like just stayed with coming to our school. We're also located really close to one of the other middle schools. So a lot of those students' siblings come here as well. Right now, the majority of our students actually come like via car. And so like a lot of that is also like ride shares because of the fact that we don't have the bus line like located directly to our school.
Thank you. And this is a K-4 campus.
Yes, K-4.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Chairman, if there's no further questions, we'll proceed to our next
Please
witness.
continue.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Dixon. We'll now call Amir Washington.
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Washington. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Please this application.
Yes, my name is Amir Washington. I'm CEO of Boys and Girls Club in Newark. I grew up here in the neighborhood on Stratford Place. I attended Louise A. Spencer. Been working at the club since I was 15 years old. Our partnership with KIPP goes back to 2010, before they had many school buildings in the community, and Spark Academy, which is now located at the Old Sussex Avenue facility, started here at the Boys and Girls Club for after school programs. We currently serve members at Life Academy presently. I think we have just about 60 members this year. And we serve another 4 schools across the KIPP network. And so this facility coming here would allow more space for us to serve more kids in one location. Kids from the community and other schools will continue to come here. Teenagers will be able to continue to come here. But specifically for these students, they'll be able to take advantage of all the things here, like our swimming pool, our STEM center, our dental clinic on site, our mental and behavioral health professionals here that have to travel currently to the school. They'll be right here on site. And so it'll just be a benefit all around. We'll also benefit from their cafeteria space and be able to serve our kids in one location, as opposed to having meals in classroom, which creates all kinds of different challenges. And it'll just be a continuation of an existing partnership, which has benefited, both KIPP students historically and Boys and Girls Club kids who aren't necessarily KIPP students. Most recently, we had a Youth of the Year who started off as one of those Spark members, who became our Youth of the Year, received about $20,000 in scholarship funds, and is now attending Rutgers University. And so it's always been a great program relationship. I think we've benefited from the KIPP relationship, and I believe their students and families have benefited from having Boys and Girls Club in Newark be a part of their schools.
Thank you, Mr. Washington. And could you also just briefly explain, because we'll have another witness get into more details, our recent conversations with the church across the street regarding some parking spaces there?
Absolutely, yeah. So I attended Smith Memorial when I was a kid, and reached out to Eric Hayes, who was the executive pastor, and he's offered 30 parking spaces to lease the KIPP. I've connected their professionals with him so they can, handle that directly, but they're open to supporting the initiative around parking.
And we expect to have a formalized lease with them shortly. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. That's all the testimony we have for Mr. Washington. He's available for questions.
You're on mute, Chair.
Commissioners, any questions or comments?
Yeah, just one comment.
Commissioner James.
Mr. Washington, I definitely want to commend you for the programming and activities that you've been conducting. My 3 kids have all attended your summer programs when they were younger and so forth, and they had a phenomenal time there. So I look forward to you continuing your services.
Thank you. It's my pleasure and privilege.
Next witness.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Washington. Our next witness will be Gabriella DiFilippo. Gabrielle, please turn on your microphone and your camera. Raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Thank you. Good evening. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
Gabrielle, I don't think your microphone is on. No, it's still muted.
Mr. DiFilippo, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes. I'm
Okay.
dealing with my microphone.
Please state your name and your affiliation to this application.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Gabriella DiFilippo. And I'm the co-president, formerly the COO of KIPP New Jersey, and also the director of Friends of Team.
Thank you.
You can put your hand down. Gabriella, if you would just first, because we do have that open question the chairman had, is when does the current lease with the Newark Public Schools end for the Burgaw property?
Yeah, we are currently it's a total of a 32-year lease, and our lease automatically renews every 5 years concurrently with our charter renewal. And that is up for renewal in 2 years, and it will automatically renew 5 years after that, and then for another 20 years. So we have 22 years left on that lease. but we can terminate the lease with a year's notice.
Thank you. And now, why don't we? Does that answer your question, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, but now just turn to the reason you're here is just to just briefly explain KIP and the community outreach that we have done since, well, actually before the last meeting in August and since August.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Sorry about my microphone issue. We've been engaging in community activities for a while regarding this project. We met with a number of elected officials, had done outreach to the Spencer School, met with the precinct captain, had done a lot of work prior to the last meeting with the planning board. And then since the planning board meeting, we've continued to engage with elected officials. We've engaged with Local 3, and we also held a virtual community meeting. We flyered the community. We handed out over 500 flyers. We went well beyond the 200 feet radius of the actual site. And we plan to continue to have community meetings throughout this process. So we feel good about the level of community outreach we've done in partnering with Amir and the Boys and Girls Club folks. In addition to the community outreach we've done, Ms. Dixon has done a bunch of outreach with our families at Life, staff and families, and folks are really excited about the project.
Great. And now if you would turn to, I know you've done some analysis of the drop-off and pickup times for Spencer School, as well as the drop-off and pickup times for the new Life Academy that will be operating on 1 Avon. Could you go through that with the board?
Sure. I can speak to it a little bit. Do you want me to also talk about parking first?
Yes, whichever you want to do first, but
yeah,
all those things, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I know there were questions last time about parking and traffic. So I'll start with parking and then I'll share my screen and then I'll go through some of the traffic and pick up and drop off times. So if I could share my screen, we've done a lot of work analyzing parkings. We've spent a lot of time at the school that exists right now and at the Boys and Girls Club to assess traffic. And we feel really good about what we're doing with parking. Hopefully you can see my screen in a second. So
that's your email. That's your email.
Wrong screen. Stop sharing, sorry.
If you want, Gabrielle, I can pull it up.
All right, one more time. Screen 2. Okay, how's that? Perfect,
that's the one.
Okay, great. Sorry about that.
So I'm sorry, Gabrielle, before you continue. So we had left off at the last meeting with Exhibit A4. We'll be marking this as Exhibit A5 with tonight's date. Sorry, Gabrielle, I just had to get that on the record. Please continue.
No problem. So if you look at this site plan, you'll see where it says 28 spaces. The 3 green sections are the places where we'll be able to park. And where it says 28, those are the new parking spaces we'll be developing as part of the project. Where it says 40, those are spots that already exist that the Boys and Girls Club is making available for our staff. And we have 60 plus staff in the building. So right there, we already have enough parking for all the staff. But as Amir mentioned, we also will have access to 30 spaces across the street at the church. So we will have more than enough parking for all of our staff and visitors. The second thing that we wanted to address was traffic. So we've been sending staff out, as I mentioned, who have been assessing what traffic looks like, and we take seriously how pickup and drop off works at all of our school sites. We have a lot of staff stationed outside during pickup and drop off at all of our
Gabrielle,
schools.
I apologize for interrupting. So
Yep.
we will be marking this as Exhibit A6 with tonight's date. And after the hearing, I will submit marked copies to the board secretary. Sorry,
Yep.
Gabrielle, please continue.
No, my fault. So what you see here in this plan in the green squares is where we'll have staff stationed. And what's nice about this site is we'll actually be able to have cars directed onto the actual site off the street to drop off kids in the morning. So this is our arrival plan. Our arrival occurs earlier than the Spencer School arrival, so there will be no overlap during arrival times. Similarly with dismissal, I'll show you a slide on that in a second. But we feel really good about how this traffic will flow, and in fact, it's better than most of our campuses. We take it pretty seriously. Our operations teams many times per year observe arrival and dismissal at all of our schools because we want to have as minimal impact on the community as possible. And we do ask a lot of questions to the community to make sure it's working well, and we constantly iterate to make sure that the impact of arrival and dismissal is not disruptive at all. We time it. If it's not quick enough, we make it better. Similarly with dismissal.
And we'll mark this as, I'm sorry, Exhibit
I did
A7.
it again, sorry.
No, no worries. Go ahead.
So similar situation with dismissal, where we'll have staff outside managing the flow of traffic. And as you can see, our dismissal times occur later than the Spencer School. So we feel pretty good about how that won't overlap and are committed to making sure that, like I said, that we're working with the Boys and Girls Club in the community to assess, especially in the beginning of the school year, how it's working and to continue to improve upon the flow of traffic at arrival and dismissal to make sure it's not affecting the neighbors.
Thank you. And that's all the testimony we have from Ms. DiFilippo. She's available for questions. If there's no questions, Mr. Chairman, we'll proceed to our last witness.
Chair Richardson.
Unmute, Chair.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Commissioner Jordan.
No, I just wanted you to unmute.
Oh, I was asking any commissioners have any questions or comments? Okay. Next witness.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And we'll be calling our last witness, Michelle Brehoff, our traffic engineer.
Good evening. Oh, I think Mr. Beck, you're muted.
There we go. Good evening. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
I do.
Please state your name and affiliation to this application.
Michelle, Michelle, Brehoff, B as in boy, Riehoff, Colliers Engineering and Design, traffic engineer on behalf of the applicant.
Ms. Brehoff, can you just give the board a brief benefit of your licensure?
Sure. So I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. My license is a good standing. I have a degree in civil and environmental engineering from Northeastern University. I have been working in traffic planning since 2008, and I am currently the department manager for the traffic planning group at Colliers.
Thank you. We offer Ms. Brehoff as an expert in traffic engineering.
You're accepted by the board. Please continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Michelle, the board did get a brief overview of your traffic report last month. I just would ask you to supplement that based upon the testimony provided tonight regarding the traffic and parking issues.
Sure. So as Mr. Kemp said, my colleague did present the traffic impact study that was prepared by my office at the prior hearing. So tonight, my testimony will be in relation to the traffic circulation, the additional parking, and everything else that's been presented. I have been on many calls with the team over the last few weeks to go over these arrival and dismissal plans, the patterns, the observations, the idea that the start arrival times and the dismissal times will be staggered with the adjacent school. We've worked to secure the additional parking. And with all of those things, you know, I feel comfortable that the traffic patterns in the area will be safe and efficient for the proposed school. And I'm with the parking that there will be more than adequate parking available.
Thank you, Ms. Brehoff. That's all we have for testimony, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Brehoff and all witnesses are available for questions.
Commissioners, any questions or comments for the traffic engineer?
I want to make a comment, Chair.
Co-chair with you.
Thank you. I just want to thank you all for coming back with such detailed information. There definitely, I had a concern with regards to that traffic flow being familiar with that area. And that's all I need to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Co-Chair. Commissioners, any other questions or comments? So that concludes your presentation, correct?
That's correct.
Are there any questions or comments from the public?
Seeing none at this time, Chair.
In that case, I need a motion.
Move it.
Move it by Commissioner Baez. Did I hear Commissioner James in there?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And second by Commissioner James. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Purdy,
No.
Commissioner Baez,
Yes.
Commissioner Timmons,
Yes.
Commissioner De Silva,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Co-Chair Richard,
Yes.
Chair Richardson.
Yes, your application has been approved. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Chairman, board members, and also board professionals who've been available and very courteous throughout, and of course, Carissa, who's always spectacular. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, everybody.
Let's move to item number 4, CPB 23-15, which is 70 Broadway. Are the applicants available?
Yes, we have Attorney Mr. Tremblay.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Alan Trembulack appearing on behalf of the applicant, 70 Broadway LLC.
Yes. Floor is yours, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, appearing on behalf of 70 Broadway LLC. This is an application for site plan approval involving property located at 70 Broadway. Property is located in your C2 zone district. It's a very narrow piece of property with only 25 feet of lot width and a total lot area of approximately 2,670 square feet. The property presently contains a one-story commercial building, which essentially occupies the entire property with the exception of a small portion of the property to the very rear that is not covered by the building. It's 100% impervious coverage existing today. The building was last occupied by a sneaker store. My client purchased this property a while back and plans to convert the first floor commercial space to a Domino's Pizza store and to construct a new two-story addition to the building, which would contain 2 residential apartments. The proposed use of the building as a mixed-use property is obviously permitted within the under the zoning ordinance, or we wouldn't be before this board. In addition to site plan approval, as noted in your planner's report for this application, there are a total of 8 variances required. However, 5 of those 8 variances are for pre-existing nonconformities really related to the size of the property and the coverage which currently exists. And again, we're not doing anything, I don't think, to exacerbate those existing nonconformities. The other 3 variances, 2 of the 3 relate to transparency requirements for the front facade of the building. I think our witnesses will indicate that the variance for the ground floor is not nearly as significant as was noted in the report. I think we still do need variances for those 2 items. The last variance cited is for building illumination in the front of the building near the entrance door. We can easily provide lighting and we will stipulate to that in order to eliminate that additional variance. So, which leaves us to, again, the two variances for transparency levels in the front of the building. I have three witnesses to present tonight. The first witness will be Pietro Rosato, the architect who prepared the plans. Secondly, it will be Adnan Khan, professional engineer, who I think appears before this board on a regular basis, as does our third and final witness, our professional planner, John McDonough. I believe my client is also attending the meeting and be available to answer any additional questions that the experts are unable to answer. So, having said that, unless the board has any preliminary questions for me, I'd like to call Pietro Rosato as our first witness.
Let's get your first witness sworn in.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I might, Counselor, have you received comments from the planning office and water and sewer?
Yes, we have.
Having had reviewed them, do you agree to comply with the conditions?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You first witness, please.
Nothing from engineer?
Please raise your right hand. Good evening, Mr. Rosato. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and affiliation to this application.
My name is Pietro Rosato, and I'm the architect for this application.
Thank you. Pietro, would you provide the board with your educational background and your professional qualifications, please?
Yes, I graduated from New Jersey Institute of Technology in Newark, actually, back in 2008, and I've been a licensed architect since 2016 in the state of New Jersey. I'm also licensed in New York and Connecticut, and my licenses are in good standing as of today. So,
okay. And what is your professional affiliation?
I'm the architect.
No, I mean your business affiliation, I should have said.
It's Piro Studio. Piro Studio is the architect, yes.
Okay, and have you testified before other land use boards in the state of New Jersey?
Yes, I've testified in front of various boards in New Jersey.
Okay.
New Jersey and the state of New York as well.
First appearance before this board.
That's correct.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'd offer Mr. Rosato as an expert in the field of
Sure,
architecture.
your license is current and good standing?
Yes, yes.
You're accepted by the board. Please continue.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Pietro, can you you and your firm prepared the architectural plans for this project, correct?
That's correct.
All right, can you review those plans with the board this evening? And I assume you're going to share your screen and.
Okay. Can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
The plans? Okay, great. Okay, so as Mr. Chairman explained, we are looking to expand an existing one-story commercial building. We're proposing a two-story addition, and where the ground floor level will be kept as a commercial space. And the owner intends to put a Domino's pizzeria. And the new second and third floor level is proposing to put 4 new apartment units. The current building is approximately 2,672 square feet, and we're proposing 2,590 square feet per floor at an aggregate of 5,180 square feet for an addition, for the addition, and 7,852 square feet total area between the existing and proposed. The ground floor level will be modified to accommodate a new staircase, which you can see on the second floor plan here. The second tag number 3 in the second plan, proposed for first floor plan. That shall be the access from Broadway, and this connects the 2 new second and third level apartments. The second and third levels are identical, and each level proposes a 1-bedroom in the front and a 2-bedroom towards the rear of the building. The one-bedroom units are approximately 1,070 square feet. 1,070 square feet, which are positioned towards the front of the building. The one-bedroom units propose an open living, dining, and kitchen area, which is you can see from the front here, and one bathroom and one bedroom towards the back and the sort of the middle of the plan. The two-bedroom units are approximately 1,250 square feet and are positioned, obviously, as I mentioned, towards the rear of the building. Again, similar plan layout where the living, kitchen, and dining area is as an open layout, open space, and the two bedrooms and the bathroom towards the rear of the building. The apartment will each have a stackable washer and dryer in the unit, and will also be conditioned by mini split systems. And the condensing units will be installed in the roof and access through a roof hatch installed in the stairway. The building will be fully sprinklered and shall have a fire alarm system as required by the building code. Also, we're proposing a surveillance system will also be installed to monitor all common areas, such as the stairway and the hallway. The exterior comprises of brick veneer, precast headers, sills, and corners, and black vinyl clad windows. The existing storefront will be modified as necessary to accommodate the new stair, as you can see from this rendering and from the front facade elevation. The stairway obviously will lead to the upper levels. Also, we're proposing a 19-foot 7.5 by 4'3" high signage proposed over the main entrance to the storefront, and approximately 11 feet above the sidewalk, which is in this location. And this is the signage, sort of an image showing where the sign is going to be located.
While you're mentioning the sign, there was a comment in the planner's report about calculating the square footage of the sign area.
Yes.
Have you done that?
Yeah, so the square footage of the sign, we've calculated to be 83.35. I'm sorry, 83.3 square feet, which is under the 10% required or allowed, but we are over the 70 square feet maximum.
Okay, so that would be a variance for the
That is correct.
square footage
Yes.
to permit 83 square feet, 83.3, whereas 70 is the maximum.
That's correct.
Okay. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No, that's I was done with the with the testimony, so we can go on with the questions.
okay. So just some follow-ups. You talked about the new entrance in the front of the building for the residential apartments would be on the left side of the building. There's a separate entrance for the Domino's store, correct?
That's
In the
correct.
front? Okay.
Yes, you can see it from the next.
There was a comment, again, I'm referring again to the planner's report, I'm trying to address all of his comments. A comment about how mail would be handled for the residential tenants on the upper floors. Can you discuss that?
So the mail will be taken, we believe, from the store manager. Okay. Did you hear it?
No.
From
Okay,
the store,
whether you were finished. So
no, the store manager will be the one that is be getting the mail and all the deliveries and packages. that are going into the building.
And the manager would be responsible for
That's correct.
delivering the mail to the tenants on the upper floors?
That is correct.
Okay. I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but can you talk about the HVAC system and particularly where?
Yeah, so we're proposing, we're proposing mini split systems with the condensing units up on the roof.
I'm sorry, condensing units where?
Are going to be on the roof.
Roof,
Be
I'm sorry.
located on the roof.
Okay. All right. Also, there is a comment in the planner's report regarding the facade transparency and the calculations, which according to his note, as well as my observations, appear to be the percentages that are shown on your plan there.
Yeah, so
appear to be incorrect. Can you discuss that and clarify?
So we calculated the transparency at the first floor level where we have a facade only on the first floor level of 350 square feet. And what's required is 65%, and we are providing 55%.
Okay. So the variance then would be to allow 55% transparency, whereas 65% is the requirement.
That's correct.
Okay, and there's also a variance needed for the second floor or the upper floors. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And your percentages there, you calculated that as we're providing 10.13%, whereas 40% is required. There's no change in that calculation, is there?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. All right, are you able to deal with how refuse and recycling is going to be handled, or is that a question better left to our engineer?
You can talk to, yeah, let's defer that to the engineers, or the owner. Yes, the owner should be the one really specifically talking about the refuse and the trash and how it's being handled by tenants as well as the Domino's.
Okay. Okay, I have no further questions for this witness, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments for the architect? Hearing none. Next witness.
Thank you. Next witness will be Adnan Khan.
Good evening, Mr. Khan. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and affiliation to this application.
Adnan Khan, KHAN, AWZ Engineering. I'm the project engineer for this project.
Okay.
The license current, sir?
Yes.
You're accepted by the board. Please continue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Would you review the site plan? For the board?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me. Yeah, I believe you guys can see the site plan. Okay. So as it's been discussed, the site is located on Broadway, specifically 70 Broadway, lot 24, block 482. The existing building, which is a one-story building, it occupies almost 99% of the lot, with the exception of a small, less than 2 feet strip of concrete in the back. Everything else is occupied by the building, and the building is on the lot line in all three sides, the front and the two sides. The proposal here is to keep the existing retail use on the first floor and add 4 units on the second and third floor, 2 units per floor, total of 4 units for a mixed use, which is a permitted use. And I'm going to leave to Mr. McDonough to explain the variances we required. But just as Mr. Tremblay mentioned, most of these variances are pre-existing: lot size, lot width, things of that nature. The proposal here, again, as I mentioned, is it's very minimum improvements. Most of the improvements will be internal or vertical up. We are planning to utilize the existing utilities, existing sewer utility or sewer line. And as per one of the comment from the sewer department, the applicant will comply to TV the existing sewer line to make sure its condition and its size is adequate for the proposed use. However, per the utility department comment, we will be proposing new water and fire sprinkler line. We did receive utility comments, and we don't have any issue as far as complying with those comments. Similarly, we did receive comments from the engineering department, and apart from one of the comment where it's been commented that we should provide fence on the side and rear, based on the location and based on the adjacent buildings, the buildings are abutting from adjacent lot pretty much. So there is no room to, and the building itself is sitting on the lot line, so there is no room to provide any security fence or fence along the side yard and the rear yard. There is also a comment on the engineer's report about an encroachment which we have identified in the rear on lot 39. The building on lot 39 encroaches about few inches onto our applicant's property. But again, that encroachment will remain because it's not affecting the proposed improvements to this project. We are also proposing some lighting improvements. In the front, we have comments regarding the lighting, and we don't see any issues as far as complying with those comments for the lighting. As part of the shade tree, we are required to provide 1 shade tree in the front. Currently, there isn't existing along Broadway, and we are proposing 1 shade tree on the front of the property. What else? As far as the refuse, it is my understanding that the way the existing refuse is handled, there is an alleyway between, actually, it is on lot 20 with a gate in the front, which is being used for the recycling, trash and garbage and recycle by the applicant of this property. However, it is my further understanding that there is no written agreement or easement or things of that nature exist between the 2 lot owners. So I will probably leave it to the applicant to clarify on that as far as how the as far as how that trash will be handled, whether that arrangement with the neighboring property will continue, or there will be a separate or a different trash disposal arrangement will be made for the property. We are also, again, currently there is no existing stormwater system on the property. However, we are proposing a stormwater system in the basement area of the building and tying that stormwater system into the city sewer system on Broad Street. Apart from that, I believe that's pretty much I have for the engineering side. Oh, one other comment in the engineer's report was about the encroachment of the gate. So just to clarify that gate, if I understand right, is on lot 26, and it's not part of this application. Encroachment into the public right of way.
Okay. So aside, aside from the issues in the engineering report that you've addressed, you can, and the applicant can, and is willing to comply with the other comments in that report as well as the report from the Water and Sewer Department. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. All right. Nothing further from Mr. Khan, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments for Mr. Khan?
Chair.
Commissioner James.
Yeah, I just had a question regarding the fence. I know you said it's not a part of this specific application, but is the fence owned by the developer?
There is no fence, but I think the comment was like, as per the ordinance requirement, we need to provide fence on the side yards and the rear yard. So since this building is right on the property line along the side yards, there is no room to provide any fencing unless we encroach into the adjacent property.
Okay, so the existing property is not owned by your client.
No, the existing property is owned by my client, but there is no room to provide a fence along the sideline or side yards or side properties.
Do you have a rendering for that area?
It's right here. Like if you look at it, like the highlighted, the darker line is our property line or our lot, pretty much. So the fence supposed to be on the side yards, on the right side as well as on the left side. But there are buildings right next to basically all these buildings are connected, sort of like one structure. So there is no physical space in order to install any fence in this area. And again, since our owner or the current owner of this property, the existing building is right on the property lines, there is no room to physically put any fence.
Right, but your client owns that development too as well, correct?
No, they just own
no?
this lot 24.
Okay, understand.
Is this
Okay.
one. Yeah.
So they don't own lot 20 and the okay.
Yes.
25. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Sure.
Commissioners, any other questions or comments? Hearing none. Next witness.
Thank you.
Next witness is John McDonough, who's already got his hand raised, I say.
Good evening, Mr. McDonough. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes, I do, Mr.
Thank
Bank.
you. Just state your name and your affiliation for the record. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is John McDonough. I am the project planner. My address is 101 Gibraltar Drive, Parsippany, New Jersey.
The license current, sir.
It is, Mr. Chairman.
You're accepted by the board. Please continue.
Thank you. John, would you discuss the variances that are required in connection with this application?
Sure thing. Just by way of background, we'll give the board the benefit of some maps and exhibit here. This may help answer Commissioner James' question as well as to what the site looks like from the ground. Mr. Chairman, I guess with your permission, we need to mark this as is it A1 for the record?
A1.
Yes, it's A1.
A1, okay, and it'll be a 3-sheet exhibit. The first is a simple tax parcel map that shows the subject property, which is this interior lot along Broadway, which we know is a commercial mixed-use corridor. It's in close proximity to the Broad Street Light Rail Station. So by virtue of the walkable and transit-rich nature of the area, there actually is no parking requirement here. It is an undersized lot in the context of the zone scheme here, but it's an established lot. It's a legal lot. And as you can see by these tan-colored buildings around the site, that there's no additional land available to cure that deficiency in terms of lot area. This is an aerial view of the same picture. Again, single tax lot, 70 Broadway, block 482, lot 24. It's about 2,672 square feet. And if we look at what it looks like from the ground, this picture was taken about a month ago, September 9th. It was formerly a sneaker store. And again, it's been closed for some time, but it is essentially built out to the property lines. You do have a dollar store immediately adjacent, the Family Dollar, and again, commercial buildings along the corridor as well. So it's a mixed area. We have some taller buildings, some smaller buildings. What the applicant is proposing here is a 3-story building and what is actually a 5-story zone. So the proposal before you is actually less intense from a height standpoint than what could be realized at this location. As you've heard, it's a 2-story addition that's going to go above the top of that sneaker store that you see. That'll be repurposed as a Domino's Pizza. Again, there's going to be an overall facelift on the ground level. The project conforms in terms of the ground floor height. It does lack, has deficient transparency, but as you just heard through architectural testimony now, above the ground floor level, we're close to conformance at 55%, where 60% is the minimum that's required. So that's actually been moved closer to conformance in terms of the transparency. The relief that the applicant is seeking here are all essentially existing conditions that are not being worsened by the application. Again, we're building up, but we're building up within the confines of what the height would be allowed in the zoning context. The lot area at 2,688 square feet is less than the minimum 3,500 square feet. The lot width is 25 feet, where 35 would be the minimum required. The rear setback in the back is 1.53, where 20 would be the minimum required. As you can see, there are buildings that are built to the lines throughout the neighborhood. So the applicant is not doing anything that's unfamiliar in terms of the site or in terms of the neighborhood. The building coverage, we're going to keep what's there at 97.48 as opposed to 80% being the maximum allowed. And then the overall lot coverage, 100%, where 85% is the maximum that's allowed. All of this relief is reconcilable under both the C1 hardship standard, in that we have practical difficulties related to the land and the structures that are lawfully existing thereon. We also have a basis under C2, the newer standard in the law, where we look at the balancing, where the benefits of the application as a whole would substantially outweigh the detriments. The benefits, of course, in terms of promoting the general welfare, repurposing and revitalizing a vacant building, providing necessary housing that will replenish dated housing stock here in the community, efficient use of land, that's purpose M in the land use law, and then purpose I, the promotion of a desirable visual environment. All the above are project benefits that would substantially outweigh any impacts associated with the relatively modest relief that the applicant is seeking. With that, I would offer that the applicant has met its burden under the law, under C1 or C2. The applicant's burden is to meet one or the other. This actually meets both. With that, I'll pause and open up to any redirect or cross.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough. Commissioners, any questions or comments for the planner?
Comment, question.
Commissioner James.
Mr. McDonough, the rendering that you just showed, can you pull that up again?
Yes,
And that's your client's property, correct?
that is correct. Yes.
So is there a reason why he hasn't maintained the graffiti on the exterior of the storefront?
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know if that's, I honestly, Commissioner, don't know if it's fresh or if it's been there for a while. I don't know.
You've been doing this a lot longer than me, and the optics just look extremely bad. That
Understood.
See such a rendering before our board that depicts this types of vandalism and graffiti.
If I may, Commissioner James, you see it says Rip Buddy.
Yep.
And he passed last month. He's actually somebody I grew up with and went to school with since we were little kids. And he's just one of those folks who never left the block that he was on. And he hung out there, and that graffiti isn't that old, because he just, I think last month he done.
Oh wow!
It actually says 8/20/24 on it for the date.
So yeah, it's not that old.
Got it. Good.
Thank you. I just happen to know.
Thank you for the clarity.
You got it, brother.
Chair Richardson, Charles Chapaconte has his hand raised.
Yes, Mr. Trafficante, let's get him sworn in, Mr. Beck.
Good evening, Mr. Trafficante. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Technically, this is a question I should have asked the design engineer, but I just wanted to go on record. The survey that was submitted shows a fence in front of the property and encroaches 1.4 feet into the public right of way. So either the survey that was submitted is wrong and needs to be addressed, or the applicant has to get approval from Essex County, because Broadway's a county road, and they would have to grant permission for its encroachment, or third option is remove the fence. But that's a question we can address after we're done with Mr. McDonough. I just needed to go on record to point that out to the board. What was shown on the survey shows a fence and a gate encroaching. So before we go to vote, I think that's something that needs to be revisited with either Mr. Khan or the property owner. That is all. Thank you.
Mr. McDonough?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know the answer about the fence, so all I can say is what I saw in the in that photograph that I just showed you. There's no fence. So maybe at the time of the survey there was.
Actually, I can also answer that. Like the survey we have, it doesn't show any fence, and I can share the survey that was submitted to the board. It doesn't show any fence in the front.
I think if I can just jump in here, I think what was being referred to is the survey shows a steel security gate 1.4 feet.
Yes.
And I think that's what you were referring to, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Then that's what I said is like that gate is. Let me see. Yeah, as you see, like this was the survey that was prepared and submitted. There is no fence. There is a gate on the adjacent, but again, this gate is coming out because of the new renovations. And as you see in the architectural rendering, it will be replaced with a storefront facade and all that stuff.
All right. Again, that's not the survey we got. I'm just saying what was submitted to the Department of Engineering shows a security gate, not a fence. All right. Though what you have now does not, and I can see it from the photos from Mr. McDonough. The survey we have is dated May 9th of 2022, unrevised.
Okay, this is July 28, 23.
Okay.
Let's see, it's revised May 28th.
All right.
Or city review, May 28, 24.
All right, but we never got that.
Okay, Charlie, Mr. Trafficante, Mr. Khan, can we, and Mr. Tremblay, can we mark these as an exhibit because we don't have this survey? We have
Yes, for sure. Yes, please. A2. This would be the survey from Morgan Engineering.
Dated May 28th, 24.
Thank you.
So that would supersede the earlier survey. So I assume if there had been a gate, it must have been removed.
Is it going on? Oh, shucks.
Yeah, the only change was made was like in this revised survey, the surveyor added some of the utilities.
Okay. Is there anything further for Mr. McDonough?
Commissioners, any other questions or comments? That concludes your presentation.
Well, actually, Mr. Chair, I wanted to call my client, who I believe is, I see his name in the list of attendees, it's shown as Mike Khan. I'm hoping it's the same person. I think it is, who's the owner of the property. Are we able to bring him in as a panelist, Carissa?
Yes, requesting him now.
Mr. Khan, are you there? And if so, can you unmute yourself?
Counselor, what is it that that Mr. Khan is going to testify that hasn't been put on the record already?
Well, the only thing I was going to say, and I can deal with the issue myself actually, because this kind of came up today, and just with respect to trash and recycling, there's only one place where that can be handled, which is on the neighboring property where it's historically been handled. I mean, this site is, again, cut completely by the building. Historically, the property has utilized the area. The property to the right side, which has a gate in front of it that was shown on Mr. McDonough's exhibit a few minutes ago. That's where trash and recycling has been handled for prior uses, and that's where it has to continue to be used. And, I would stipulate, if the board requires it, that we provide a written agreement or other proof regarding our entitlement to utilize that property for trash and recycling storage and removal. That was the only purpose of attempt, but that's, I think, what my client would have said. I think
Thank you.
Mr. Khan?
Yes, I'm here.
Good evening, Mr. Khan. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record.
Mike Khan, 441 Main Street, East Orange, New Jersey, 07018.
And Mike, what is your relationship to the owner of the property, 70 Broadway LLC?
I am the owner of the property.
Okay, and you heard the discussion regarding trash and recycling?
Yes, I have.
What do you know about that, and how you intend to deal with that if this project is approved?
What happened in the past, they had the arrangement with the neighboring. They have little alley on the side, the sharing area. They store it over there. And what we do is we have them pick them up 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We have the same situation in Bergen Street Domino's Pizza. Same kind of structure. We have Domino's downstairs and 2-story building upstairs. That's brand new as well. We do the same thing. We hold the garbage on the side, and it gets picked up 3 times a week. We never have any issue.
Okay, is there anything else you wanted to add to that, or is that about it?
That's about it, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Commissioners, any questions or comments for Mr. Khan? Here we go. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes, it does, Mr. Chairman.
Madam Secretary, are there any persons from the public wishing to speak?
Seeing none at this time, Chair.
In that case, I need a motion.
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Baez,
Second.
second by Commissioner Purdy. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Timmons,
Yes.
Commissioner De Silva, Commissioner De Silva,
Absent.
Muted.
yeah, you're on mute, Commissioner De Silva. Can you hear us? Okay, we'll come back. Commissioner Baez,
Yes.
Commissioner Purdy,
Yes.
Commissioner James.
Yes.
Just gonna double back one more time. Commissioner De Silva,
Yes.
okay. Co-Chair Witcher,
Yes.
Chair Richardson.
Yes, the application has been approved. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And just to put on the record that Commissioner
Thank you.
Scott Rountree has joined us.
Say that again?
Commissioner Scott Rountree has joined us.
Yes.
Chair Richardson, there was a note from an attendee. There was a note from there's a note from an attendee asking that they're probably calling in, so if people could mention their names before speaking so they understand who's talking.
Yep. Noted. Let's move to CPB 24-17. 50 Wilson Avenue. Mr. Veloz.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Noemi Velozi. On behalf of CPB 24-17, the owner is George Palacios, the applicant Gladys Siglencia for the premises at 50 Wilson Avenue. And I'm looking for my team.
Who do we have, Mr. Velozi?
I believe we have Mr. Roma.
Oh, okay.
And Mr. McDonough's here.
Okay. Mr. Roma, you are declining. So he's not responding to, he's declining being promoted. He's done it twice now, so I don't know.
Counselor?
Yes.
You have a number of other applications before us this evening. Do you want to move on to the next one in the interest of time? Or is he an expert on the rest of them?
The last two are Mr. Fernandez. The next one, I'm looking to see who my architect is.
Ay.
I have Mr. Fernandez here if we want to move on to the next
I
one.
mean, if we can go to number 9 and 10, they're both similar applications with Mr. Fernandez.
Let's do that. Let's go to number 9, which is CPB 24-52, 79 Rose Terrace.
Once again, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Noemi Velozi on application CPB 24-52 for 79 Rose Terrace. The owner is LEF Development LLC. And Mr. Fernandez.
Mr. Velozi, I don't think he heard what you said.
I'm sorry. Did you hear me put my representation on or no?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Can we have Mr. Fernandez sworn in?
Thank you. Mr. Fernandez, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and affiliation for the record.
Jorge Fernandez, Fernandes, registered architect for the project.
Thank you.
License current, sir.
Yes, it is.
You're accepted by the board. Please continue.
Thank you.
Mr. Fernandez, have you reviewed the planner's report?
Yes.
Okay. And a couple of quick questions from the planner's report.
Sure.
The window wells on the basement, are they going to have grates for the windows?
Correct. Yes, they will.
Okay. The planner's also asking us to testify as to basement recreation, the area.
Yes, the basement is for the use of the tenants of the building, on the upper floors.
Okay. And what about on-site circulation for the vehicles in the driveway?
There will be a shared driveway between our property and the adjacent property.
Now, as to the engineering report, Mr. Fernandez, do we have any issues with the engineering report or any comments?
Well, I think I'll just go through those as I'm presenting the site plan.
Then go right ahead.
Thank you.
Chairman, before Mr. Fernandez starts, could I just ask one clarifying question about my report? You're on mute, Chair.
Mr. Barry, I'm sorry, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Just state your name and affiliation briefly.
Sure. John Barry, professional planner and planner for the board. Good evening, Mr. Fernandez.
Good evening.
The question that Mr. Velosi raised about whether there would be grates on the window wells, really the question was about whether those grates can support a vehicle driving on them, because it looks to me as if they're out in the middle of the driveway, essentially.
Yes, they are rated for to be used in driveways.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Chair Richardson, I'm not sure if the zoning officer, Nana Juma, has a question before the application proceeds.
Let's get her in, get her sworn in, and ask a question.
Good evening, Nana Juma, zoning officer. I just have a quick question for housekeeping. Did we introduce this application into the record so it's time stamped? And also, did we ask if there were objectors in the attendees list for this application?
No, well, we don't really do that. We wait till the end, to after the presentation, and then folks, so if there are objectors, then they can object at the end.
Okay, can you just remind me which application we're listening to right now?
We're on number 9, which is CPB. Yeah, CPB 24-52, 70 Rose Terrace.
79 Rose Terrace, okay, thank you.
Yeah, 79, I'm sorry. Yep.
All
right, please continue, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so these are the premises of the Rose project at 79 Rose Terrace. The property is 3,839 square feet. It's currently only occupied by a garage at the rear of the property. That garage will be demolished as a result of our proposed development, as will the neighboring garage on the lot 40, which is on adjacent to this property. We will be providing the shared driveway easement between the two properties in order for the both houses to have access to parking. And essentially, we're going to propose a 3-story structure on the lot 39. The structure will be set back from the front property line, 13.5 feet, as we're trying to comply with the setback requirements of the city by bringing the house back closer to the neighboring properties. The building will be 63 feet deep, and we'll have a 10'6" driveway between the two houses. Again, here are the grades in question. These are rated for vehicle use, so they can be placed there. And towards the rear, we have a 47-foot rear yard setback where we'll have the parking for 3 cars on this property, and for 2 cars on the other property, because I believe that's a 2-family house. And we'll still have a grass area in the back. An on-site tree can be planted there. We have the condensers and the recycling and trash the 3-family that we're proposing in the backyard as well. And in the front, we have a grass area as well in the front of the building. We're also providing a street tree in the front on the sidewalk. There was I believe a comment in the engineering report about an existing power line that comes into this site. It's shown here on the existing survey as overhead wires, and this line merely is for to provide power to the garage. And as the garage will be demolished, the power will be obviously capped and removed, and you'll no longer be necessary. Therefore, these overhead wires will no longer serve a function. The floor plans, I can go into those as well. We have a 3-bedroom apartment on the first floor. We have the entrance in the front with a stair that gives access to the upper floors. You enter through the living room. You have the kitchen, living, and dining. We have a closet that has mechanicals as well as laundry. And then we have a office, 115 square feet, bedroom, 102 square feet, and then the master bedroom, 152 square feet, and another bedroom at 122 square feet. But beneath this, we have a basement that will be completely open. It'll be accessible through the same stair. And of course, it will have windows with window wells. And this is to be used as a tenant recreation area. And it also house some meters and mechanical. This obviously doesn't have a bathroom. It's not for really habitation. It's only for use in terms of recreation by the occupants of the upper floors. The second through third floor, we have another 3-bedroom apartment on each floor. The bedrooms are a similar size and also has an office and also has a laundry and mechanical closet. We have here the elevation. We can see we have ample light and air coming into these spaces. We don't have a windows on I believe is the eastern elevation. So in other words, the elevation facing the lot 38, the adjacent property, on the other side, because we only have a 1-foot side yard on that area, and therefore we cannot provide windows because we have less than 3 feet to the property line. Building code does not permit that. So that is why we can't comply with we have any glazing on that wall, but we do have ample glazing on the other walls of the house. I would like to share my rendering. This is the colors. We have cedar shake siding, composite siding, as well as the plank siding on the first, second, and third floor, and then we'll have stucco on the ground. That pretty much concludes the testimony for the architecture. I'm open to any questions.
Commissioners, any questions or comments for the architect?
Chair.
Commissioner James.
I know you mentioned the basement was for recreational purposes. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes. It's used as merely as an amenity. So if somebody wants to have a gathering or they can use it, and it will be up to the discretion of the building management to allocate the times that is used. For each of the tenants.
It'll be common space.
The common space, yes.
Okay, so all the residents would have access to it, but the management would essentially regulate the space.
Especially hours. Yes.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Commissioners, any other questions for the architect?
Here, Charles Trafficante has his hand raised.
Mr. Trafficante. You're still on the oath, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
engineering report to the planning board dated September 10th. On the second page, item 3, demolition plan. Roman numeral 4, applicant shall provide testimony to the board as to how they intend to maintain access to the rear yard of adjoining lot 40, lot 2624 to the west through the shared driveway easement for instrument number 2020127478 during demolition and construction activities. Can you address that?
Yes.
How do you-
The site right now is not occupied by a building. So essentially the driveway could remain for the use of the existing building as construction is going on.
That will be left open during construction. You want to have lumber and cinder blocks, topsoil, sand, gravel, things like that in the common shared driveway you're proposing. That will be maintained
Correct.
open.
They'll maintain open for the use of the current structure, existing structure.
And engineering department would like to recommend to the board that a condition of approval be included, that the plans be revised to show you're proposing a common ingress egress driveway between this lot, which is lot 38, and the adjoining lot 40 to the west, I believe, Mr. Fernandez. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Can you revise the plans to show the entire easement on the adjoining lot 40? Because I only see what you're showing on the subject lot 38. Since it's a common driveway, don't you need to show the entire easement, both on lot 40 and 38? Showing how those 2 parking spaces on adjoining lot 40 you testified about will be able to get in and out, you assume, of that rear parking area, assuming there is a rear parking area and not a garage. Is that something that would be possible?
Yes, that would be possible.
All right. All right. Otherwise, as far as you know, there's no overhead easement. You note the garage is to be demolished on both the subject lot and adjoining lot 40.
Correct.
Correct? So do you know of any overhead utility easements that exist that serve the adjoining lot 40 or any other lot for those existing utility poles with the overhead wires?
I have no knowledge of those easements.
All right. So there's no known record.
Correct.
And I guess you would work with PSE&G to relocate those poles if need be?
Yes.
All right. Otherwise, you can comply with all the other comments in the engineer's report to the board dated September 10th?
Yes.
No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trafficante. Commissioners, any other questions or comments for the architect?
Commissioner Baez has his hand raised.
Commissioner Baez.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a simple question. I believe that the basement is going to be used for stuff like this.
You're freezing, Commissioner. I think you froze.
I am. Yeah, no, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, my simple question is, so there's going to be, I believe that the basement is going to be using it for activity, but there's going to be no stove or bathtub in the basement, isn't it?
Correct. We don't have a kitchen or bathroom in that basement. It's
all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioner, any other questions or comments? Hearing none. Next witness.
Mr. Chair, we submit.
Okay. In that case, Madam Secretary, are there any persons from the public wishing to speak?
First, zoning officer Nana Juma has her hand raised.
Okay.
Good evening, Nana Juma, zoning officer. I have a few questions for the architect or the applicant's attorney. Seeing that they don't have a planner, I guess I'll direct my question to Mr. Fernandez. My first question is to Mr. Fernandez. The lot size is a compliant lot size, 31 by, I believe, 131. Is there a reason why the new construction could not comply with the side yard setback?
The reason is the shared driveway. In order to preserve the 10'6" needed for the driveway, that is why we need the variance for the 1 foot on the other side.
Okay, and my second question is regarding the basement, which appears to be empty or vacant space. Is there a reason why the applicant didn't propose off-street parking for this new construction? And by that, I mean on the ground level, off-street ground level.
Yeah, we're proposing off-street behind the building, parking behind the building. He likes to provide basements for the mechanical and also for recreation space. That is why.
Okay, and I think you answered one of my other questions, which would have been to describe the nature of this amenity space or recreational space, but you answered Mr. James' question.
Yes.
So those were all my questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Juma. Madam Secretary, are there any persons from the public wishing to speak at this time?
Yes, we have a few churches.
Okay. Let's get them sworn in and they'll have 3 minutes to speak.
If you could come off of mute and maybe turn your camera on, Samsung, I'm not sure your name. You're on mute.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Thank you. Do you solemnly
Yes.
swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes, my name is Natasha Delva for the record. I'm the owner of 81 Rose Terrace, which is the lot that shares the driveway with 79 Rose Terrace.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I just want to, I have questions about the demolishment of the garages because all of the garages are attached. So I want to know that my garages won't be impacted in the process of the demolishment of the other half of the garages. That's my first question.
So just ask all your questions and then we'll get them all answered.
That's my first question. My next question is, as is mentioned, there is an easement in reference to the driveway. However, I just want to ensure that with the easement that it won't impact, like my access in and out because it's an ingress regress. So it won't, like, the building of this new property won't be too close to my property because I had an issue with the last previous owner when it came to the fence. And those are my two questions.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Sure. Mr. Velosi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe Mr. Fernandez could also provide the same testimony. One, we are going to keep the driveway free and clear so that she can use it. And in the event any damage is done to her garage, when we're demolishing the garages, we will gladly take care of it and make sure that it is replaced and in good order. Mr. Fernandez, isn't that correct?
That is correct.
Miss, does that answer your questions?
Yes, it does at this time.
Thank you so much.
Before you go, Miss Natasha, can you just spell your first and last name for me for the minutes?
Okay, my first name is Natacha. My last name is Delva, D as in David, E as in elephant, L as in lion, B as in Victor, A as in apple, Delva.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, are there any other persons from the public wishing to speak?
Yes, we have a couple more here.
Okay.
Mr. Smith, if you could turn your camera on and come off mute. Thank you.
Yes, hello?
Yes, good evening. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes.
Thank you. Please say and spell your first and last name and your address for the record.
William Smith, WILLIAMSMITH, 77 Rose Terrace, Newark, New Jersey, 07108, on behalf of Francis Smith.
Yes, sir. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Yes, I have two questions. We wanted to know, will the building at 79, will it obstruct our basement windows because we have windows on that side of the property, and our PSCNG meters are on that side of the property as well?
Mr. Fernandez or Mr. Veloso?
I'm just trying to clear up, this is to lot 38, the building to the right of a subject property?
This is the building 79 that's being in the empty lot.
Yeah, well, but are you asking about the electric meters on an existing property, correct?
It's on 77's property, but in order to get access, you would have to go into 79's fence.
Well, you have 2 foot 8 inches from the house 77 to the property line, and then we're providing an additional foot. So essentially, you have 3 foot 8 inches between houses. That shouldn't create a problem for PSEG.
Will there be a fence there to separate, or just the house?
Just the house. There's no windows, so we really don't have to have a fence if it will create a problem for your meters.
Said it'll be a fence. It won't be a fence over there, just a house.
Okay.
You have any more questions?
Mm-mm.
All right, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on. Have a good evening.
You too.
Madam Secretary, are there any other persons wishing to speak?
Yes, we have a couple more.
Okay.
Hello, all.
Yes, good evening. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and your address for the record.
Sure. My name is Robert James Austin II. I am at 1 Shanley Avenue on the corner of Rose Terrace.
Thank you.
Floor is yours. You have 3 minutes to speak.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Chairman.
The floor is yours, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
I thank you, Mr. Chairman. Some of the concerns that we have here is the fact that, we're going before this neighborhood. It's a historic neighborhood. Let's state that. But it's also comprised of 2.5. Rose Terrace is consisting of 2.5 families. None of them are full 3 families. On Shanley Avenue between Rose and Avon. And in this area, it would pose a problem because for parking, we're already congested. It is problematic, and we already have 4 units on Upper Road that are 2.5 units being built at this moment. And we already have an issue of parking. And we would like to know if there's any consideration for this to become a 2.5, possibly with the parking, additional parking, but with the garage, and a unit that is not a full 3-bedroom. Because if we understand that the anticipation that we're averaging maybe 3 to 6 more vehicles on the street, and you only have 3 parking. So we would like to see if there's some consideration to make this a smaller unit, and not necessarily a full 3-family, which is changing the aesthetic of the neighborhood, of the street.
Okay, thank you for your question. Mr. Veloso or Mr. Fernandez? Who wants to take this?
Mr. Chairman, we are fully complying with the parking requirement on this. I mean, my client likes to give very nice size apartments. Everything he builds, he keeps. He takes good Good. He maintains his properties very well. We've been before this board many a times on similar projects, and we've never had any issues. And we do comply with the parking requirements, so we're not asking for a variance for that.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Austin, that answer your question? Okay.
Muted.
Dr. Austin, you're muted.
Okay, I'm still present. Am I still muted?
No, we can hear you now.
Okay, I thank you. It does not answer my question. And we also understand what is the necessity for 3 units opposed to 2.5, which is what this area is. We have newer homes in this area on the street, and they all are 2.5 units with garages and half apartments, studio apartments in the rear of the garage. This is what we want to maintain. Having been before this board before in this committee, we thank you for their diligence in maintaining the aesthetic of our neighborhood. We do welcome. However, we just do not want to invite. That's a total of 9 bedrooms and a basement space with only 3 parkings, and it's changing the aesthetic of the neighborhood. So for the record, we do welcome it. We want some consideration to maybe a 2.5. We understand that the developer may want to maximize, his opportunity in his investment, but please respect the aesthetic of this historic street.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Mr. Veloz.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Any chance that your client would consider that?
I would need to take a recess to speak to him, Mr. Chairman, but I mean, we are able to build a 3-family. The doctor did testify they're all 2.5 families, so that means they're all, instead of 9 bedrooms in between 3 apartments, it's 8 bedrooms. We are providing the parking, Mr. Chairman.
So you said there's 1 bedroom less, 1 bedroom more?
Well, a 2.5 family to me is either a 2-bedroom or a 1-bedroom in the rear. Most of the 3 families that were built years ago with the garage in the front would have had a 2-bedroom in the back. So, I mean, we're providing 1 extra bedroom, and, the zoning ordinance allows us to provide that bedroom. I mean, my client likes to provide nice size homes. He's doing that. This is for families so that they can have ample space for their kids, so they can take them to the school and they can be comfortable. We are providing the parking as well, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, sir. Madam Secretary, any other persons from the public wishing to speak at this time?
Yes, we have one joining us, Mr. Shea Coulter.
Hello, Mr. Chairman. I swear
Let's
to
get
tell
him
the truth.
sworn in, Mr. Beck.
Yes, I need to, I don't have them on my screen.
Oh, Mr. Dan, good evening. Very simple. I'll be very brief.
Yes, good evening. Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes.
Thank
I
you.
do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Shea Coulter, 232 Avon Avenue. Very simply, I was calling in to support the concerns of the other residents on Rose Terrace. Although the current regulations allow for a 3-bedroom, my concern and question was to really primarily Mr. Fernandez and Mr. Velosi. If you want to advocate, you can, but my question is really squarely to Mr. Fernandez. How can you assure these residents, particularly the neighbors to the right and the left, that the ingress-egress access for the fire department is going to be wholesome, it's going to be safe, and quality in nature? Because our demographic on that street is both geriatric age seniors as well as working families. So just if you could, Mr. Fernandez, share out a little bit how the building you're building is in fact still going to be accessible to emergency EMS, and you're not going to cause congestion on that street. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That concludes my question.
All I can say about the accessibility is that we have the 10'6" driveway, common egress driveway. That's usually more space than it's available typically. A lot of homes are built with 3 feet to the property line. This home will have 10'6". Essentially, you could drive a van down that driveway. So in terms of accessibility in case of emergency, I would say it's better than most of the homes that don't have that side driveway. In terms of other safety features, this 3-family will have a fire sprinkler system throughout. So of course that is code, and it's also a requirement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Madam Secretary, any other persons wishing to speak?
And there is one more, Chair.
All right, this is gonna be the last one on this application.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give this board should be truthful?
Yes.
Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record.
Camila Hamilton, 83 Rose Terrace, Newark, New Jersey, 07108.
Thank you.
You have 3 minutes to speak.
Okay, so my concern is parking, of course. I also have a shared driveway, and lots of time we're already having issues with people blocking the driveway. So parking is one, and also construction. Will this affect me coming in and out? I do go in and out a lot. So I want to know, is construction vehicles will be on the road blocking us from getting in and out? What is going to be the deal here? I mean, a 3-story, the houses is already close together, and now a 3-story and a parking. This was once, I've been here for over 10 years. This has once been just a house with a parking lot. I've known those neighbors for a long time, and then it was sold. And then he only sold part of the house, part of the I guess the yard space, and now I guess he sold it to these people that's on the call here, and now you guys are building a 3-story house. I find this to be very ridiculous. So those are my questions and my concerns.
Thank you. Mr. Veloz.
Mr. Chairman, if there's any blockage on the street due to construction, it would have to be with anything that needs to be done at the street level, which is required for engineering in pipes and such. And obviously there'll be notice to everybody of that. Other than that, no, the construction will be maintained on the property itself. And we will do our best to not inconvenience any of the neighbors. As I stated earlier, if God forbid we do somehow damage the next door neighbor's garage while we are constructing, we will gladly rebuild her garage so she has no issues. Further, we're not going to in any way obstruct that driveway so that she can feel free to use it in and out. So, I mean, we're willing to work as best as we can, but as to what we're building here, Mr. Chairman, right now we have an empty piece of land. It does nobody any good except for the weeds. We're creating something. We're building a new home. We're creating more residences for the city of Newark, as well as contributing to the tax bill for the city of Newark. So, and we're conforming. We're allowed to build a 3-family. That we're providing the 3 parking spaces. I don't know what else we can do except we're giving everybody brand new housing in the city of Newark, spacious housing, not tight little crammed apartments.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, any other questions or comments on this application? Hearing none, I need a motion.
So move.
Moved by Commissioner Timmons,
I'll second it.
second by Commissioner Byers. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Commissioner Purdy,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Byers,
Yes.
Commissioner Timmons,
Yes.
Commissioner De Silva,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott Roundtree,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Co-Chair Witcher,
Yes.
Chair Richardson.
Yes, your application's been approved. Good luck.
Thank you, everyone.
Let's move to CPB 24-53, 97 Rose Terrace.
Once again, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Noemi Velosi on behalf of application CPB 24-53 for 97 Rose Terrace. And if we can have Mr. Fernandez sworn in.
Good evening, Mr. Fernandez. Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give this board shall be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and affiliation to this application.
Jorge Fernandez, Fernandes, project architect.
Mr. Chairman, you're muted.
You're accepted by the board. Please continue.
Thank you.
Mr. Fernandez, this project is similar to the last one. Can you please take us through the plans?
Yes. Okay, so we have the premises here. The site is 4,050 square feet. We have it's slightly longer than the previous application. We have 31 by 130, 25 and 131.10. There's also an existing house on either side of this property and a garage to be demolished in the rear of the property. The rest was a vacant parcel. So the proposed, we have again our proposed structure here. In this case, we have a setback in the front as well to match the neighboring properties, 13'3". We have a grass area in that front. Here we have a 9-foot driveway, and there's, because the existing home to the west has a retaining wall on their side, so we're gonna have we're proposing our driveway to that retaining wall. Starts at 8'6", and then it widens to 9 feet. And there's a shared easement there for both properties, and we will be parking 3 cars in the rear of the property. We have here a 50-foot setback and grass area in the rear with a on-site tree planted there as well. And we will also be planting a street tree in the sidewalk. The floor plans, again, we have the same recreation area in the basement. No bathroom, no kitchen, just a recreation area. Then the first floor plan, we have a 3-bedroom apartment with the 3 bedrooms, 102 square feet, 122, and 152 square feet. We have an office, 115 square feet, and living and dining area with kitchen and a laundry closet for the use of the apartment. The second and third floor is a similar layout, 3-bedroom office, living space, and laundry facility as well. We are proposing same kind of materials in the front side, the composite siding, cedar shake, and lap siding. The glazing is compliant with the requirements of the zoning ordinance. And we have the wall that's 1 foot from the eastern property line that doesn't have any windows because of the code requirement. I would like to share the rendering again to show the colors. This is the colored elevation of the proposed project. And that I'm open to any questions.
Mr. Fernandez, before we get into questions, and Mr. Barry had some comments again. So his planning comment number 2 is the demolition of the garage. Again, if we somehow affect any other neighbor, we will reconstruct their garage, correct?
Yes, that's the intent of the developer.
Okay. As to the window wells, again, can they support a vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. And what about the maneuvering of the vehicles for the shared driveway easement?
The shared driveway easement allows for the cars to be able to back out and go back down the driveway.
What about as to the engineering report? Do we have any comments, concerns, or is it all acceptable, Mr. Fernandez?
I believe it to be all acceptable.
Thank you, Mr. Fernandez.
Commissioners, questions or comments for the architect? Hearing
Chair, if I may ask a follow-up on
Mr. Barry.
Yeah, John Barry, still under oath. Mr. Fernandez, can you clarify? So, for this application, there is not an existing access easement in place. Is that right?
As far as I know, the easement is proposed.
So it doesn't exist today. So, I guess Mr. Trevicante may ask the same question, but as with the prior application, I think it would be beneficial if we could see the full extent of the easement on both properties so we can confirm the maneuvering.
Absolutely, we could provide.
Thank you. And Mr. Chair, Mr. Trevicante does have his hand raised.
Okay, let's get Mr. Trevicante in. You're still on the oath, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
is it fair to say, well, let's start on page 2 of the engineering report to the board dated September 10th, 2024, under item 2, survey, Roman numeral 5. Survey indicates an existing retaining wall that runs along the common side yard property line between the subject lot and adjoining lot 47, block 2624 to the east. Applicant property owner shall provide testimony to the board as to who this existing retaining wall belongs to. Should it belong to the current property owner of the subject lot, applicant property owner of the subject lot shall provide additional testimony to the board as to the future disposition of this existing retaining wall as a result of the proposed development. Should this existing retaining wall be removed, the applicant shall provide further testimony to the board as to how they intend to protect the adjoining structure and its detached garage on a neighboring lot 47 to the east when they demolish this existing retaining wall, and how they intend to meet the existing grade contours along the common side yard property line, the adjoining lot 47 to the east, without encroaching onto their property. Can you answer or address that comment, Mr. Fernandez?
Yes. The retaining wall for lot 4 is entirely inside lot 49, and it will remain. It will remain in place. Our shared driveway is going to be beyond that retaining wall as it is today.
Well, you're talking the shared driveway on the opposite side of the house. That's on the west side, correct?
Correct. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm talking about the retaining wall on the east side.
On lot 47?
Yeah, to the east.
Yes, that one will, of course, where we're planning to build our house, that retaining section of the retaining wall will be removed, but there's still 2 foot 8 inches to the neighboring structure, so we shouldn't be, and we're providing 1 foot from the property line, so we will not be disturbing the foundation of that adjacent property, and the wall can remain beyond the property in the rear, behind the house.
And do you have any plans or expectations to encroach on the adjoining lot to the east when you remove that existing retaining wall?
No, it should all be done within our property, as the wall is mostly within our property.
And you're going to meet existing grades along that shared property line, common property line to the east?
Yes.
And are you willing to revise your grading plan to show proposed grades as a result of that retaining wall removed?
Yes.
All right. And I believe Mr. Barry hit on the comment. You agree to provide the complete location of the common ingress egress easement and you agree to maintain that access to the adjoining lot to the west during construction and during demolition?
Correct.
All right. Otherwise, you can comply with all the other comments in the engineering report to the board dated September 10th.
Yes.
All right. No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chafficanty. Next witness.
Mr. Chairman, we submit.
Okay. In that case, are there any questions or comments from the public?
Chair, first I had to step away for a moment, but we do have a hand raised that could
Okay.
promote.
Let's get this person sworn in. Mr. Beck.
Yes, I'm looking for that individual.
Yeah, he's joining right now. It's Dr. Austin.
Okay.
You're
Dr.
muted.
Austin, can you unmute yourself? Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good evening. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, Dr. Robert J. Austin II of 1 Shanley Avenue, Newark, New Jersey, 07108.
Go ahead, Dr. Austin. Floor is yours.
Okay, great. Once again, greetings. I just, the concern I have from some of the residents that are adjacent. First, let me preface it with this. We welcome this. This property was an eyesore to the community, and with all due respect to code enforcement, MPD, and our former councilman, our current councilperson, assisted us in getting this lot to where it is now. So we appreciate that. What is a concern for myself and some of the residents is that we're trying to respect the integrity of this neighborhood because it is, regardless, many people don't know that this is a historic neighborhood for the first Black mayor of Newark, New Jersey. And we're trying to maintain it, and we do a lot of work. And what is concerning is when we architects and developers are invited to build and help advance our city forward, they don't visit or, have meetings and converse and see what we would like. We have a parking issue on Rose Terrace. It is extreme. And to be building a 3-family structure will definitely cause more conundrums for parking. This doesn't impact me because I have a 2-car garage, but it will impact those persons. We've done a lot of work to try and get homeowners and landlords to start using some of their driveways, but these homes were built many years ago, so the driveways don't fit the larger cars. But this is going to be another conundrum for us, and that is my statement.
Thank you, Doctor. Duly noted. But you just a lot of times the public don't understand that our hands are tied by land use laws, and we have to go by what's permitted, what's not permitted, and we understand the conundrum and the parking issue that happens not just here but in other parts of the city. But they're not asking for a parking variance, so it's not something that we can actually take into consideration. It's just how it works. Just an FYI.
Okay, I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman. I did not hear, though, he did preface and say that there will be parking available. It will be similar to the other property, but will there be parking available on this property? I think, did I miss that?
Thank you, Doc. Mr. Velozzi, can you answer that question?
Yes, Doctor, we're providing 3 parking spaces on this property as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor, for your questions, your concerns.
You're welcome.
Madam Secretary or Mr. Barry?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry.
Okay. Chair. Any other persons wishing to speak?
Seeing none at this time, Chair.
In that case, I need a motion.
Chair, I have a question first.
Sure. Co-chair with you.
Thank you. Can someone share who's the property manager for these buildings or for these homes? And will that person be on site? How is all of this going to operate?
Mr. Velosi?
I can state that my client owns, he is not on site, but he owns, I don't know how many houses in the city of Newark. I've been to this board on various applications for him over the last few years, as was my predecessor. They build new and they keep it. And they are active landlords in maintaining their properties and maintaining a good repertoire with their tenants. So they're very active, but they're not on this one home. They only build twos and threes. They build smaller homes. They don't want to build big buildings. They find them that they're easier to maintain, and that's what they've been doing for many years in the city of Newark.
All right, thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I need a motion.
Motion.
Moved by Commissioner Purdy, second by Commissioner Baez. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Commissioner Jordan? Commissioner Jordan?
I'm right here. Yes.
Commissioner Purdy?
Yes.
Commissioner Timmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Baez?
Yes.
Commissioner De Silva?
Yes.
Commissioner Scott Roundtree? Commissioner Scott Roundtree?
Absent.
Okay. Commissioner James? Commissioner James?
Absent.
Co-Chair Witcher?
Yes.
Chair Richardson?
Yes, application's been approved.
Thank you,
Good
Mr.
luck.
Chairman.
We're gonna go back to CPB 24-17, correct?
Mr. Chairman, can we take a 5-minute break before we get there?
Nope.
All right, then I'll keep going.
CPB 24-17. If you're not prepared or your people aren't here,
I just wanted to take a bathroom break, Mr. Chairman. But I see Mr. Roma's here, so let's run through it.
go. Let's get them in so we can get going.
Good evening, everyone. Noemu Velosi on behalf of CPB 24-17 for 50 Wilson Avenue. And if we can have Mr. Roma sworn in.
Yes, good evening. Mr. Roma, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and affiliation to this application.
My name is Daniel Angel Roma. I'm the licensed architect for Artex Studio LLC, and we prepare the drawings for tonight, 50 Wilson Avenue, Newark, New Jersey. My license is following.
You're good to go, sir. Please continue.
Thank you.
Mr. Roma, can you take us through the plans, please?
Yes. Let me see. Share.
And Chair Richardson, if I may ask a question. Mr. Can you just confirm the date of your plans before you proceed?
9/9/2024.
Thank you.
All right. What we are proposing is a mixed-use building. This is located in a C2 district, and the use is a permitted use. The idea is to have on the first floor a laundry room, a laundromat. And on the second floor, we're going to have 2 apartments, and on the third floor, the third apartment. We have some variances. The property for a mixed-use building requires a minimum lot size of 3,500 square feet, but our existing lot is a total of 2,350 square feet. That's why we have a variance. The minimum lot width supposed to be 35 feet, and we have 25. That's the other variance that we have. Let me go to show you the first floor. Okay. The first floor is a total of 1,587 square feet. We're going to have two entrances. The entrance to the right is the stairs going up to the second and third floor and also to the basement. And the stairs to the left is the entrance to the laundromat. The laundromat will have a total of 16 washers and 10 double dryers. The total will be 20 dryers and 16 washers. The 16 washers, 6 will be 20 pounds, 7 40 pounds, and 3 will be 65 pounds. As you can see here, we come in, we have a couple chairs to wait, some vendor machines, an attendant, and then we have the dryers and the washers. We also have 2 bathrooms, men's and women, and then we have an access to the rear yard. This first floor will have a basement. The basement, you can see here, will be a total of 1,291 square feet. As soon as you come in from the first floor, you have a garbage area. In the front, we have electric room, gas room, sprinkler system, and to the back, we have a storage for the laundromat and a mechanical room for the whole building. One of the questions that the planner was asking is where the garbage for the laundromat will be located, and the garbage for the laundromat will be located on the storage area that is going to be used exclusively for the laundromat. Now we can go to the second floor. On the second floor, we have a total of 1,602 square feet. As soon as we come out from the second floor, we have 2 doors. One to the right goes to an apartment in the back. The apartment in the back will be a total of 755 square feet and will be a 1-bedroom apartment. As soon as we come into this area, we have an open area where we have a living, dining area and a kitchen, and then we have a bedroom. The bedroom is 10.6 by 11. Also, we have a full bathroom. The apartment in the front, as you come in, you have an L-shaped kitchen, a living, dining area, and a bedroom in the back with a full bathroom. The total square feet of this apartment is 711 square feet. Again, second floor, 2 apartments, 1 bedroom each. If you keep going up, you're going up to the third floor. On the third floor, we have, as soon as we come in, a kitchen, U-shape. Then we have a living room, dining, and a den for probably a little office, all open space. And then we have 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. The master bedroom is 14.6 by 11 with a full bathroom and a walk-in closet, 5 by 10. The other 2 bedrooms are 10.6 by 11 and 10.6 by 11 with their closet. On the corridor, there is a full bathroom and a storage area. The building is a mixed use. I want to show you, let me show you what is there right now. This is a very commercial area is Wilson Avenue. This is what is there right now, 50 Wilson Avenue. It's a two-family residential, but you can see on 48 Wilson Avenue, 38 Wilson Avenue, there is a mixed use. Most of the buildings in this street are becoming commercial on the first floor and residential above. That's why my client decided to demolish these two family and create the new building a mixed use, laundromat on the first floor and 3 apartments. Here I have a rendering how the building will look like. We're going to use aluminum color gray and fiber cement panels, a good accent in between. On the first floor will be brick and will be glass storefront for the laundromat. This is another view. Also, we are proposing to have a new tree as is required by planning. We have another variance. I said that we have two variants. One is the lot size, the other is a lot width, and the last variance that we have is the, let me see here. The last variance is the rear yard. The rear yard when is supposed to be a minimum of 25 feet when it's next to a commercial. We have only 20 feet. We think that is enough area in the back, but we are 20 feet from the neighbor residential in the back. Those are the only 3 variants that we have. This is basically what we're proposing, a nice mixed-use building where on the first floor will be a laundromat and 3 apartments above.
Mr. Roma, have you reviewed the water department's comments?
Yes.
Are we able to comply with all of them?
Yes, we will be able to comply with the water department comments.
And Mr. Roma, on the engineering report, I know Mr. Traficante is going to ask about the staircase that's in the public right away. That is obviously being removed from our rendering, correct?
Oh yes, definitely. Let me go back to this. Yes, the stairs that is there right now is going to be demolished. The whole building will be down, and then we're going to have a handicap access for the people to get into the store.
Mr. Roma, Mr. Traficante also mentions a metal shed that's existing in the back. It's an encroachment.
Let me show. Let me see 1 second.
Mr. Veloso, while he does that, and excuse me, Chair Richardson, can we mark the rendering as A1, please?
We can, sorry.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, this is the survey. As you can see, this is the existing house that's going to be demolished. And in the back, there is a metal shed that also is going to be removed.
And Mr. Roma, Mr. Traficante also speaks about oil caps on the front, which means potential oil tanks. During the demolition, obviously, if there are any oil tanks, we will have them excavated and removed in accordance with DEP regulations, correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Chairman, I have no other questions of Mr. Roma.
Chair Richardson?
I'm sorry. Commissioner.
Mr. Traficante?
Terry Richardson, Charles Trafficante has his hand raised for a question.
Okay, let's get him in.
Thank you. Mr. Roma,
Yes, sir.
the engineer's report to the board dated July 16th, 2024 on page 2. Well, I think you've addressed all those comments.
Yes.
Your elevations, front elevations show canopies. Will any of those encroach into the public right of way for Wilson Avenue?
I will have to check the code, but if they're encroaching, I'm going to remove it. But I think that they can be at maybe, I'm not sure if it's 10 or 12 feet high, but I would like to provide some canopies to have access, cover the access to the main entrance.
All right, but should they encroach, it's up to you and your client to either get approvals or substantiate you're allowed to encroach. I don't think you are, but hey, I'm not the attorney. Am I? Right, Mr. Velozzi?
No
So I think it's to you and your client and your legal advisor there to recommend to the board as a condition of approval that should they encroach, either you do one or two things, get approval or remove the encroachment. Is that something agreeable to you and your client?
Okay.
Mr. Roman, Mr. Velozzi, you can either way you
It's acceptable, Mr. Trafficante.
All right. Otherwise, Mr. Roma, can you comply with all the other comments in the engineering department's report to the board dated July 16th, 2024?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions. Thank you.
Commissioners, questions or comments?
Terry Richardson, Commissioner De Silva has her hand raised.
Okay.
How are you? Good evening.
Good.
Is there a time, like what are the hours of operation, and also if there's a pickup and drop off service?
I don't know. That will be part of the owner. Hours of operation will be probably Monday to Friday and Saturdays. I'm not sure if they planning to open on
Mr.
Sunday.
Velozzi, can you answer the question?
I can tell you that the rest of the neighborhood is usually all laundromats closed by 10 p.m. They do open early down here around 7. I do not know if there will be a pickup or drop off. I do know that there is one laundromat down here in the Ironbound 11, but nobody else does. So if the board wants to put conditions or restraints on that, we have no objections.
Commissioner De Silva?
My only concern is that due to the school being about half a block away, people triple park over there, and there's also a bus stop right in front of that building. Right in front, there's a bus stop. So if there is pickup and drop off service, I don't know how that's going to be possible. My only concern is the parking situation in that area. Because laundromats tend to be very busy.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Commissioner, as a condition, we have no issue with there not being any pickup or drop-off service. I know the area as well, and it's a nightmare getting through during school hours because, yes, people do triple park. And it makes sense not to have a pickup or drop-off there.
Commissioner De Silva, that helpful?
Yes.
We can make it a condition, you can do the motion, and as a condition, make that recommendation.
Okay. Yes.
All right. Not yet. Mr. Velozzi.
If we could call Mr. McDonough.
Get Mr. McDonough.
I'm over here, Mr. Becht.
Yes. Good evening. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and affiliation for the record.
Sure. Hi again, everyone. John McDonough, project planner, 101 Gibraltar Drive, Parsippany, New Jersey.
You may continue, sir.
McDonough, can you take us through your presentation?
Sure, this is another application in the C2 zone. It's very similar to the one that I testified to earlier this evening. You're looking at a 3-story building in a 5-story zone. Mr. Roma just gave the good predicate for the planning justifications here. The main relief that the applicant is asking the board to move on relates to the lot geometry. Number one, we have a lot that is 2,350 square feet, where 3,500 square feet would be the minimum required. We're also looking at a lot that's 25 feet wide, where 35 feet would be the minimum that's required. You can see here that the neighborhood pattern is very strong with similar size lots in terms of width. Because of the convergence of the lot lines here as a result of the convergence of the streets. That's where the lot area starts to reduce as we get closer to the intersection. It's a lawfully platted lot. There's no additional land available for development. And again, reminding the board, it's a 3-story building in a 5-story zone. So we think that the relief is reasonable and appropriate in the context of what could be realized here. As you heard through Mr. Roma's testimony, relief for rear yard setback, that is just short of the ordinance requirement of 25 feet. We're at 20 feet, but I think this aerial shows that we have a mixed neighborhood in terms of rear yard setbacks, and the applicant is not asking the board to move on anything that would create an anomaly in the neighborhood. And then, of course, as you saw through Mr. Roma's testimony, this is a replacement of what is there. It's going to be an infill, certainly going to pick up the neighborhood with that beautiful building, 3 stories immediately next door. So we've got some good harmony from a mass and scale standpoint. And then, of course, through Commissioner De Silva's comment about the bus stop, there it is right in front of the site. So I think that's a reasonable restriction that the board can move on with respect to pickups and drop-offs here, deliveries and the like. That being said, we think that the application has landed in a good spot where the benefits of the application as a whole would substantially outweigh the detriments. This is a service type use. It's relatively small scale, so it serves a localized population that goes towards the promotion of the general welfare. We've got efficient land use here with replacement of a site that's already developed. And then purpose I, the promotion of a desirable visual environment, falling back on Mr. Roma's beautiful renderings that he just showed you. Based on all the testimony and the mitigative measures that have been put forth through the conditions, I believe relief can be granted without any substantially adverse impacts to the public or to the zone plan. And with that, I believe the applicant has met its burden under the law and approval is warranted. So
Thank you, Mr. McDonough. Mr. Chairman, we submit.
Yes, sir. Commissioners, any questions or comments?
If I may, Chair Richardson, just can we mark these as no question. Exhibit A2 for the planner's exhibit.
Yes, and I'll get this to you, Carissa.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions or comments? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from the public?
Seeing none at this time, Chair.
In that case, I need a motion.
So move.
Second.
With the condition that there is no pickup or drop-off service.
Yes, with the condition.
Roll call, Madam Secretary.
I'm sorry, Chair Richardson, just so we have it. So we have Commissioner James on the motion and Commissioner Baez on the second?
Correct.
Okay. Commissioner Purdy?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Commissioner Baez?
Yes.
Commissioner Simmons?
Yes.
Commissioner De Silva?
Yes.
Commissioner Scott Roundtree? Is not with us. Apologies. Commissioner James?
Yes.
Co-Chair Witcher?
Yes.
Chair Richardson?
Yes, your application has been approved. Good luck.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Let's move to CBB 2445, which is 81-83 North 9th Street.
Good evening, everyone. Noemi Velosi again on CPB 24-45 for 81-83 North 9th Street. And if we can have Mr. Roma sworn in.
Good evening. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be truthful?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Once again, your name and address for your name and affiliation for the record.
My name is Daniel Angel Roma. I'm the licensed architect for Artec Studio LLC, located at 877 Broad Street in Newark, New Jersey.
Thank you.
And my license is current.
There's something about it, board. Please continue.
Mr. Roma, can you take us through the subdivision?
Yes. Okay. All right. The property is a vacant lot. We can see here in one picture, the address is 8183 North 9th Street. There is a vacant lot that has been vacant for many years, and my client is proposing to subdivide the lot. Let me show the survey first. And the property is a total of 47.83 by, in one side, 116.77, on the other side, 115.62. What we're planning to do is to subdivide this lot into two lots. The minimum lot size width required for a subdivision is 25 feet. We're going to be a little short. Will be 23.92, almost 24 feet. We're missing 1 foot. And the other one will be 23.91. The total square footage of each lot will be more than is required. The total will be 2,787 for lot 47.01. And for lot 47.02 will be 2,775 square feet. Let me go back. As I said, the property is located in R4 district. We're going to have two variants. The first variance is the lot width. Minimum lot, as I said, 25. We have 23.91 and 23.8. That's why we need a variance on that. And the other variance will be the maximum building lot coverage. The maximum required is 60%. We are at 68%. It's only 8% over. But let me go to the plans. The idea is to have at the same line of the two buildings, one to the right and one to the left. We're going to have two new buildings. The width is 20 feet 4 inches by 70 feet long. The idea is to have both houses similar, one to the other. We have the stairs on the right and a parking on the left. Will be parking for 2 cars on each one. Let me go to the floor plans. Okay. Floor plan. Here we have the ground floor. The total will be 1,365 square feet. We have a 2-car garage. From the garage, we have access to the family room that is going to be used for the apartment on the second floor. From the first floor, we can go up to the second floor, and also we can go to the second floor from the main entrance. Will be 2 doors. The building will not have a sprinkler. Every apartment will have their own entrance. The total square feet of the second floor is 1,388 square feet. As soon as we have access through 10 steps, then we go in to the left with the door. We have another 7 steps, and we are on the second floor. We have a U-shaped kitchen and a living room to the front, and 3 bedrooms. The master bedroom is 13.9 by 14 with a walk-in closet and a full bathroom. On the corridor, we have two bedrooms, one 10.3 by 11, 10.3 by 11. We also have a full bathroom on the corridor and a laundry room for this apartment. If we go to the third floor, is 1,420 square feet. As soon as we get into the third floor, we have a U-shaped kitchen, and then we have everything open for a living and dining area. We have a total of 19 feet 1 inch by 19 feet 2 inches. Is a nice area for living and dining. The bedrooms here are 10.3 by 11, 10.3 by 11, and the master 13.9 by 14, also with a walk-in closet, a full bathroom, and a laundry room. Let me show you the elevation. This is the front elevation. We using three materials: brick, ASEC panels, white, with two sliding doors. One on the second, one on the third floor. We using Nichika vintage wood spruce color on top of the brick, and both houses are similar. I have a rendering showing how this will look like. These are the two houses. This is one rendering. I have another view. And 1, 2, 3. Yes, this is how these new two families will look like. We have a couple variances. John McDonald will talk about it. But one of the things was that when you have a lot that is less than 25 feet, you are not permitted to have parking. But we thought that it was a good idea if you have a two-family to have parking. That's why we are providing a parking for these two families.
Thank you, Mr. Roma. Mr. Chairman, I don't have any other questions to Mr. Roma.
Hey, commissioners, any questions or comments for the architect?
Here, if I may, Mr. Valone, can we mark the rendering as A1?
A1 it
Yes, no problem.
Commissioners, questions or comments? Okay, now next witness.
If we can call Mr. McDonough.
Mr. McDonough, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes, I do.
Once again, state your name and affiliation for this application.
John McDonough, project planner, 101 Gibraltar Drive, Parsippany, New Jersey.
Go ahead, Mr. McDonough. You're accepted by the board. Please continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. McDonough, if you could take us through your presentation.
Sure. This is an application to subdivide an existing platted lot. We're here in the R4 zone, which does permit mid-rise buildings. The applicant is doing something less intense from a massing standpoint. I've highlighted, and I will get this to the board secretary. It's going to be a 5-slide exhibit, Exhibit A1, and we've highlighted the subject property in yellow, lot 47 in block 1928. It's just short of 50 feet wide. I put a little dash line in here to show how the applicant intends to subdivide the property, and you can see that we do have good compatibility with other lots in the neighborhood, which do have 25-foot widths. These lots are going to be slightly undersized in terms of their width, and that's what's triggering the relief that the applicant is seeking. One of the lots are 23.92 feet. The other is 23.91 feet, where 25 feet would be the minimum required. I think that can fall within the realm of de minimis and certainly is not going to be something perceivable in the public eye as being in variance and out of character with the neighborhood. The maximum impervious coverage is 68%. where 65% would be the maximum that's permitted. Again, that's in the interest of effectuating this positive development. Likewise, and I'll get to this in a sec, it's a vacant piece of land. It's a developed area. We've got a mix of densities here, including a 37-unit building. We've got a 24-unit building. We've got 16-unit buildings, and you'll see a 17-unit building when we look at the subject site. And this is a view of the property taken today. It's this vacant lot in the middle. The applicant's going to subdivide, put buildings in that are similar to those that flank it, surrounded by these massive buildings that are around it as well. So we think this is good, reasonable, appropriate massing for this particular site. This is looking east towards New York. This is the reverse view looking west, and you get a sense of the scale of the buildings and the light and air and the separation between. The applicant is not asking the board to move on any relief in terms of setbacks or the like. And then again, this is just a top-down view to show how this is going to be infill development that's in scale with the surrounding neighborhood. In terms of the relief, besides the lot width and the impervious coverage, we do ask for relief related to the driveway placement. There are driveways common in the area, and this relief is needed only because these lots are slightly less than 25 feet. Also, relief related to vinyl fences being permitted only in the rear yards. The applicant is asking the board to move on privacy fencing in the side yards as well. And then finally, foot candles that are going to, on one level, exceed the maximum permitted, and on another, insufficient within the side yard walkways. With that, we think the applicant has met its burden as reasonable and appropriate, looking at the package as a whole, the benefits of positive infill, taking underutilized land, putting it back to productive use, revitalizing the site, will promote the public welfare with new housing stock, and that offsets any of the impacts with the relief that the applicant is seeking. On balancing, the benefits substantially outweigh the detriments, and therefore the C2 balancing test is met. And that's all I have on direct.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough.
All right. Commissioners, any questions or comments for the plan? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from the public?
Yes, we have one, Sherry.
Okay, let's get that person sworn in, and they'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Mr. and Mrs. Lucas, can you come up? There we go.
Aye.
Good evening. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board should be truthful?
Yes.
Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record.
Omika Lucas, 52 North 9th Street, 07107.
Floor is yours. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Well, the main question was answered, which was the parking. So I greatly appreciate that more than anything else, because as a homeowner, it's so unfortunate that I don't have a driveway and I can't find parking on a regular basis. So thank you for making sure that parking is provided for that. So my next concern would be property management and the upkeep of the property, because it has been a lot of unkept properties around this area.
Mr. Veloz?
Mr. Chairman, these are going to be 2 brand new homes. I have not spoken with my client whether his intention is to keep these or then sell them to homeowners who are going to reside there. If he does keep them, he will personally manage them and maintain them. If they're sold, they're going to be sold to homeowners who are going to reside there and maintain their own properties.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Madam Secretary?
Seeing no other questions, Sherry.
In that case, I need a motion.
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Purdy,
Second.
second by Commissioner Timmons. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Commissioner De Silva?
Yes.
Commissioner Baez? Commissioner Baez,
Yes, I'm sorry, my service is not that good. My vote is yes.
Commissioner Purdy,
Yes.
Commissioner Timmons,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott Roundtree,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Co-Chair Richard,
Yes.
Chair Richardson.
Yes, and Commissioner Roundtree wants to be in the affirmative for all the applications. That correct, Commissioner?
I've been having technical difficulties. I'm
Yeah.
actually at the hospital.
But she did let
Yes.
me know that she wants to be a yes on all the applications.
Wait a minute,
So
y'all can't
please-
hear me?
Yeah, please note that. We hear you.
All right, thank you so very much, Brother President, and to my fellow commissioners.
Okay, your application's been approved. Good luck. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Let's move to minutes from September 23rd and September 30th. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes? Are there any corrections or concerns? Hearing none, need a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
Moved by Commissioner Roundtree, second by Commissioner Timmons. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Ayes have it. So moved. Mr. Beck?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The following resolutions, applications were approved at the
Que vuelvan a
September
bendiga,
30th.
una buena noche para
At
todos.
the September 30th.
Mr. Commissioner Baez, mute your device. Mr. Beck, continue, please.
Yes, the following applications were approved at the September 30th meeting, and resolutions have been prepared and are to be memorialized this evening. They are as follows: CPB 2441, that is 499 7th Avenue. CPB 2449, that is 415-417 North 11th Street. CPB 2448, that's 399 Walnut Street. And lastly, CPB 2429, 677, 679 North 5th Street. All those commissioners that voted affirmatively are permitted to memorialize same. If anybody has any objections, please put them on the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beck. And the next meeting is October 21st. And you guys have a great evening and stay safe out there, everyone.
Thank you. Good night, all.
Take care, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Everyone have a good evening.